Good morning, good morning, good morning to our early morning sip and chat. How are you? I know it's early, but I like coming in early in the morning so that I can check in with you, see how things are going. Hey, Tanisha. So we have a couple of days until New Year's. How are you planning for the New Year's? How are you bringing in the New Year's? And not what are you doing New Year's Eve, not how you're hanging out and what are you looking forward to on New Year's Eve. But what are you looking forward to in the New Year's? So let me get started. My name is Keisha Mason Campbell. I am the author of Not Your Journey to Take. And I teach women that no is a complete sentence. And I show them how to establish healthy boundaries with their families while putting their needs first. And that entire sentence, how does that work for you? How can that work for you in the new year? Well, I'll tell you how they can work for you. When it comes to boundaries, you need to have them. You need to be able to set your boundaries and plant your feet and say no and knowing that that's a complete sentence without any explanations. Why? Because it is a new year. It is time for you to make sure that you find you, that you're living for you, and that you are focusing on you. Absolutely, Tanisha. Tanisha said, I am spending the entire year focusing on practicing self-care in all areas of my life. And I don't think most people realize how important that is, but it is absolutely important. It is absolutely important for you to show up for yourself. Showing up for yourself looks like me calling Tanisha and say, hey, Tanisha, listen, I need a ride to the store. And I thought about you. Why don't you come and get me and take me to the store? Tanisha responds to me. If she doesn't feel like it, she's not in the mood, or just don't want to, right? Just not wanting to do something is absolutely a reason. Tanisha's response to me should be, no, not today. Or, no, I can't do it. Or just simply, no. And I need to be okay with that. I need to be okay with that. I need to be good with Tanisha saying, no, not today. Or just plain old no. Hey, LV. I have to be okay with that. So when you're walking into 2023, what are your boundaries? You got about 2 days left. No. Yeah. Today and tomorrow. 2 days left. As you plan for what's happening for you for next year, what are you going to do for next year? How are you showing up for you next year? And don't do it just in the beginning of the year. Like in my last live, I talked about goals versus New Year's resolutions. Goals, right, are something that's obtainable, something that you want to do, and something that's long term. New Year's resolutions are usually temporary. You're doing it for the first month, first couple of months, or maybe even the first quarter, depending upon how disciplined you are. With that being said, what are you most looking forward to? What are you setting? Are you setting goals or are you setting New Year's resolutions? Where are you? What are you going to do? For me, I set goals. Something that I want to obtain, something that I am going to do, something that I am going to work towards. You can set obtainable goals. And as you see that you are obtaining those goals, that gets exciting. That gets really exciting. And then you'll start setting goals that are less obtainable in your mind. But honestly, they're absolutely obtainable. Absolutely obtainable. New Year's resolutions. Oh, I'm going to do this for the new year. I'm going to do that for the new year. Well, who cares about the new year? Why? You care about you. Tanisha said, I'm redoing my bedroom because self-care of the environment is something that is often overlooked. Absolutely. In your bedroom, that's your solitude. That is peacefulness. That is peacefulness. That's right, LB. I think is a great one too. That is peacefulness. This is where you go when you are going to retreat in the evening. When you wake up in the morning. If it's not peaceful in your bedroom, or when you look around your room, it's not giving you some form of what they call feng shui, right? Where there's peacefulness that's there. You go to sleep in peace. You wake up in peace. Redoing your bedroom, Tanisha, I think is absolutely a great idea. And that is an obtainable goal, not a New Year's resolution. And I think people should understand the difference between the two. And we talk about New Year's resolutions, and all these things that you want to do. But with that, how does that work for you in June, October, December, March? How does that work for you? Usually it doesn't. Because by the end of January, it's usually done. Maybe February and March, again, we're pushing it. But if you're setting goals, even if you fall off, you can go back and go get that. New Year's resolutions, know what you say? Oh, I'll do it next year. Oh, I'll start over next year. Goals, you can always reset and restart. And you don't have to wait for a time frame. You don't have to wait for anyone. You don't have to wait for a certain time of year. You don't have to wait for an occasion. If I fall off my goal, I can get right back on it, just so I can obtain the goal that I have set for myself. So what are you setting for yourself? What are you looking forward to for yourself? How are you setting yourself up for 2023? Can you believe that? We are in 2023. Some of your goals that you set for yourself need to be your boundaries, because your boundaries will help you with your self-care. Your boundaries will help you with taking care of you. Your boundaries will help you help yourself and help people know how to talk to you. Help people know how to manage your relationship. Help people know how to respect you and your no. It's totally up to you, because everything starts with you. If you can't tell somebody else no, why should they accept it? Why should they not ask you? Why should they not tell you? Why should they not make these requests from you? Because you're not going to say no. You ever met anybody who you were really cool with or that you've known for some time, and no matter what you asked them, it was always yes? Not that you respect them any more or any less, but you knew that they were always going to come through no matter what. So even the least little thing that you really could just do on your own, or you could just take care of, or it's not even necessary, but because you know they'll do, you know what you do? You ask them anyway, because you know they're going to show up. You know they're going to do it. It's not a requirement. It's not necessary. You're not missing out on anything. But you know that person is going to show up because they always do. But guess how much you will respect them, and people will respect you as well when you say no. In that no, a lot of things happen. And that no that I give to you doesn't mean I love you any less. Doesn't mean that maybe I won't do it the next time. Just right now in this moment, it's a no. You will respect me and my no and be like, wow, maybe I need to do that a little bit more often for myself. When you do, the next person that you tell no will be like, wow, you telling me no? Absolutely, I'm telling you no. But there's a level of respect that comes with that, because setting boundaries for yourself, letting people understand that these boundaries are there because I come first. Not that they come last, or that you dislike them or love them any less. No. Just because I choose me first doesn't mean I don't choose you. You're just not first. You're just not right now. You're just not today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next year, but not today. And that is okay. And that's why self-care is important. That's why setting boundaries are extremely important. And you need to know that your boundaries are for you. So when people question your no, you don't owe them an explanation. You do not have to tell them why you said no. That is absolutely not a requirement. It's up to you if you decide to give them a reason. But for whatever reason you give, it's yours. It is absolutely yours. So in 2 days, 2023 is here. How are you bringing in the new year? Not the party, not the celebrations, not the champagne. How are you going to bring in the new year checking for you? How are you going to bring in the new year with your self-care? What boundaries are you going to set for you and yourself and in your life and what you have going on? Where are your boundaries? How are you setting your boundaries? How are you going to implement your boundaries? Make sure that in any decision that you make that decision with you in mind first, not everybody else. Because if I don't share anything else with you, no, if I can't take care of me, I definitely can't take care of you. So same with you. If you can't take care of you first, how can you take care of anybody else? Because we have to be healthy. We have to be good. We have to have this mindfulness to know that all things are going to be okay. Even in the midst of the storm, in the midst of troubles, in the midst of things going crazy in your life. Trust the process and know that it's going to be okay. But with that, setting boundaries is everything. Set your boundaries. Know that no is a complete sentence. Know that you have to put yourself first because I got to show up for me before I can show up for you. Because how would that look? I'm showing up for you, but everything is all crazy inside for me. I can't focus, I can't function, but I'm here as a zombie taking care of you. But I'm not here for me. It doesn't work. It absolutely does not work. It absolutely will fall fast. Remember that saying, crash and burn? You will absolutely crash and burn. And you don't want to do that. Why? Because everybody wants to live a full life. Everybody wants to be happy. And tomorrow isn't promised. We have seen that time over time in our years. But with the COVID pandemic, we have seen it in such oh my gosh, it's just happening so fast. People are leaving us left and right, left and right. So tomorrow isn't promised. So let's take care of ourselves today. Right? We taking care of ourselves today, we'll be okay tomorrow. And the next day. Because I don't want to not take care of myself today. And I'm stressing over the next person or the next thing or the next situation. And tomorrow isn't promised. Who wants to live a life of uncertainty, not being happy, showing up for everybody except me? It's not the life anybody should want to live. But I understand sometimes it's hard because we become hardwired to do what? Take care of others. As women, we're expected to do that. As women, we're supposed to do that. And I'm not saying you can't show up for others. I'm not saying you can't do that. What I am saying is show up for you first. Set those boundaries. Let others respect you where you are, what you have going on, and what you are doing. Teach them. Remember, each one teach one. So if I'm setting boundaries for me, and I'm talking to Tanisha will be like, wow, okay, let me go ahead and set some boundaries for me. Tanisha talks to LB. And LB is like, oh, wait a minute. Tanisha's throwing up the boundaries. I get it. Let me show up for me. Absolutely, LB, show up for you first. Show up for you first. I'm telling you, all things will follow and all things will be okay. Because you're teaching other people by your actions. Whether it be your sister, brother, kids, parents, friends, associates, the clerk at the grocery store, the clerk at Nordstrom's. Doesn't matter. People pay attention. You think people aren't looking when they are looking? People are always looking. You're always teaching, directly or indirectly. Show them how. Show them how to show up. Absolutely intentional living. Do it on purpose because you can. It's your life. These are your boundaries. You want to be happy. You want to be true to you. You want to show up for you. You want to have self-care. You want to take care of you. Because once I take care of me and I'm happy, I'm smiling, I'm moving around, things are going great, I can help the next person. My nose may not be as often. I will still have boundaries, which means everything that I do will be within my boundaries. My boundaries. What works for me. And I'm hoping that in 2023, that after watching this video, you're thinking to yourself, wow, how am I showing up for me in 2023? What am I going to do for me in 2023? In the comments, tell me 3 boundaries that you're going to set for yourself in 2023. And even if you're watching the replay, give me 3 boundaries in the comments. What you're going to do for 2023. How are you going to show up for yourself in 2023? It can be something as simple as, I'm not answering my phone before 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not answering my phone after 10 o'clock at night. It can be on Saturdays or on Sundays. Let's use Sundays. That's usually the day of the Sabbath, depending upon your religion, right? And you can say, I am going to church, or whatever you do to serve your God on that Sunday, or on whatever day you do that, because we have Seventh-day Adventists, we got all types of religions. So I'm not leaving any religion out, but on your day that you consider your Sabbath day, don't do anything. And stick to that. Somebody say, come take me to the grocery store on the day where you're like, this is my day. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. That way you don't have to take the call. And if you do take the call, the answer is no. People will respect your boundaries, but they can't respect what you haven't set. Right? I'm going to say that again. They cannot respect what you have not set. That's right, Tanisha. Being a single mother, lack of boundaries leads to depression. And then with depression, sometimes you go to, a therapist, you talk to them, and then they want to give you prescriptions. Now you're putting foreign substances in your body because now you need to have a balance, right? And you got to try to balance out that depression because you have to show up for you so you can show up for your kids. But now you have this foreign substance that you have to take to be able to balance that. And sometimes that's necessary because life gets crazy. Life gets hectic. So I'm not going against the grain to say don't take the foreign substance. I'm not saying don't go see a therapist because even your therapist need a therapist, right? So if your therapist need a therapist, that means everybody needs a therapist. How do you know where you need to set boundaries? Thank you, LB. That is awesome. When someone is asking something of you and you immediately get convicted to say, I don't want to. That's that feeling in the pit of your stomach. That's that thought in your mind. And you really don't want to. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Everything starts with you. You don't need a person to tell you when to set the boundaries. But you may need somebody to show you how to establish the boundaries. But you know when you need to set the boundaries because you get this feeling when somebody comes to you with something, when someone is asking something of you. Or as soon as they ask you, you get that feeling like, I don't want to, I can't, I don't feel like it, I got other things going on. But then you begin to feel guilty. And you do it anyway. That's right, LB. Saying no without feeling guilty or providing an explanation. Absolutely. And that's how you have to start 2023. Because you are not required to show up for other people if you don't want to. You are not required to pull your boundaries down and give other people what they want just because they ask. You are not required to show up for people just because they ask. You are not required. You should not feel guilty. You should not feel any type of way. But when you should set those boundaries is when someone asks something of you and you just get a feeling over yourself like you just really don't want to. You really just don't want to show up. You really just want to stay in your space, in your home, where you are, whatever you're doing. It could just be laying down. That's your choice because that's you. That is your choice. That is your self-care. So when that awkward feeling shows up, when someone asks something of you, it's okay to say no. Yes, you might be feeling guilty, but we're wired that way. As women, We're wired to show up for others. We're wired to show up for our families, our friends. We're wired to show up for everybody except ourselves. Did you get that one? We are wired to show up for everybody except ourselves. We need to fix that. Now it's time to show up for ourselves. It's absolutely time to show up for ourselves. And that's what we need to do. And that's what we are. So in 2023, in the comments, whether you're watching the live or the replay, give me 3 boundaries. 3 boundaries that you're going to set in 2023. And even if you don't have 3, because some of this is new to people, and I get it. It is new. Give me 1. I'll take that. Give me 1 boundary that you're going to set for yourself. And if you're feeling bold, tell me what that boundary is and how you're going to establish, implement, or keep that boundary. So if you can tell me at least 1 boundary, if you don't have 3, and if you're feeling bold, tell me 1 way that you're going to establish, implement, set that boundary. Oh, Tanisha says, I'm learning the most boundaries need to be set with the people we live with. Absolutely. And you know why, Tanisha? Because as women, we are expected to always show up for others. And if they're living in a house with us, it becomes the expectation that you're going to show up for us. Right? But we got to let you know, you can't do that. I can say no to you because you live in the house with me. I'm not obligated to say yes. I'm not obligated to be here. I'm not obligated to sit here and do whatever you're asking of me because we live together. That is absolutely a no. That's right, Tanisha. I am not explaining. Tanisha's boundary for 2023, I am not explaining. And you don't have to anybody, parents, children, friends, your spouse. You don't have to. If an explanation is needed for anything, it's to yourself. And let that explanation be, why am I taking care of me? And why didn't I start sooner? How can I take care of me? Why didn't I start sooner? Those are questions that you should be asking yourself because boundaries are needed. Boundaries are necessary. And it's not that you love anybody any less, and I can't stress that enough because some people take a no as, oh, so you don't want to be bothered with me? It's absolutely not the case. People take the no as, oh, you don't want to talk to me right now? You mad at me? No, I'm not mad. No, I don't have a problem. No, I don't have attitude. It just means, no, I'm not showing up for you today because I don't have to. I'm showing up for me. That is the requirement for 2023. Showing up for yourself, setting boundaries. Tanisha said, them kids will try and take you out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, LB, people take no as a rejection. When you tell them no, they immediately go to the part of their brain that, oh, you must be mad at me. You must have an attitude. Or I must have done something to you. Or you don't want to be bothered with me. It doesn't mean any of that. It doesn't mean any of that. But for some reason, just like women are hardwired to always show up for others, everybody receives a no as if it is a rejection. And it is not. Those 2 letters, that 1 word, is just that. It's a no. That is how you're feeling. That's how you're taking it. But that's something within you that you got to work on. Because maybe if you learn how to say no, you won't receive it like that. You'll respect the other person's no and be okay with it. Showing up for ourselves is absolutely necessary. Tomorrow isn't promised. And we have seen that a lot over the past couple of years. A lot. I know it's hit my family like crazy. But when you learn that I need to put me first, I'm okay with saying no and not feeling guilty. people will respect that. That's right, LB. Teach people how to treat you because they don't know how to treat you. A lot of times, people will treat you the way that they treat themselves, or they'll treat you the way others treat them. I'm going to say that again. People will treat you the way others treat them. And if they don't have boundaries, can you imagine how they're being treated? Can you imagine how they're always showing up for others? So if I have the expectation that's been set for me and I've been doing those things, that means I'm going to expect that from you. I'm thinking you're going to show up for me. I'm thinking you're not going to tell me no. I'm thinking that you're going to do what you're supposed to do, which is whatever I asked of you. That's a lie. That's a lie. I don't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. And you should not expect me. You should not expect me. Absolutely, LB. I know it's early in the morning and I got on one, but I just want to see, ladies, 2023 in these boundaries. How are you showing up for yourselves? How are you putting yourselves first? How are you letting others know that I come first? I'm putting me first. Doesn't mean I love you any less. Doesn't mean I care for you any less. Doesn't mean we aren't family. Doesn't mean we are less friends. It just means I love me more. And I'm showing up for me. I'm putting me first. And I'll see you when I see you. Right? There's nothing negative about that. But you can't control how other feels. You cannot control how other people feel. You can't control their feelings because their expectations will dictate how they feel. Right? So if my expectations is LB, every time I call you and I'm saying show up for me and you tell me no, immediately I'm like, oh, no. You don't tell me no, LB. What's going on with you? Are you sick? Are you okay? Do you have something going on with you? Not once do they think she just don't want to. People expect others to show up just because they ask. That is absolutely not a requirement. Absolutely not. You do what works for you. You do what's best for you. You show up for you first. And listen, everybody else will get in their place. They'll get in their space and they will respect it. Like it or not, totally up to them. And that's a them issue. That's a them problem. That's a them thing that they have to work out. Showing up for you first. Setting those boundaries. Sticking to those boundaries. You will see so much. You will see how much happier you will be. You will see, wow, saying no, I can just sit here and just be at peace. I can just sit here and drink my water. Sit here, have my mimosa. Sit here with my coffee. Not be disturbed. Or saying no so I can just sit here in peace for a little bit. You don't have to be doing anything to give that person a no. But really, you are doing something. You're showing up for you. Don't you think it's time? I think so. It's time to show up for you. 2023, in the comments for the next couple of days. Put it in the comments. If you can give me 3 boundaries that you're willing to set for yourself, let me know. If you can't give me 3, give me 1. But when you give me that 1, share with me. How are you going to implement that boundary? Establish that boundary. Let other people know that that boundary exists. And you don't have to just call them and be like, don't call me because I'm going to tell you no. Subtlety is everything. When they call you, no. Don't that feel good? That's got to feel great. So for those of you that are on the live and watching the replay, let's just do a reenactment. I'm going to ask something of you. I'm going to pause and just say no. Whether you say it in your mind, because maybe you're watching this and you're out and about, right, at work or doing other things and you don't want people to hear you just say no. And they're looking at you like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Say it in your mind. So I'm going to ask something of you. We're going to pause. And I want everybody to say no. Good? Let's get it. I'm calling you and I'm saying, hey, Let's go to the mall. Nordstrom's has a sale. Your response should be, I'll wait. Absolutely no. Your response should be no. Why? Because you're taking some time for yourself, or you just don't want to. No explanation needed. You don't have to explain. You don't have to say no because, no however. No is a complete sentence. And I'll leave you with that this morning until our next early morning sip and chat. No is a complete sentence. Set those healthy boundaries for 2023. Leave it in the comments and let me know what boundaries are you setting for yourself in 2023. Give me 3 of them. And if you can't, give me 1. And in that 1, tell me how you're showing up for yourself. Tell me how you're going to set it. And I will tell you, just because you set the boundaries and you may slip and say yes when you may want to say no, it's okay. Because it's a goal, we can start right back over. Because it's a goal, you can start right back over. It's not an easy task. It's not easy to do. But once you learn how to do it, I'm telling you, it is going to feel so awesome. It is going to feel awesome. So you guys have a super fantastic morning. Enjoy your day. My name is Keisha Mason Campbell. I am the author of Not Your Journey to Take, and I teach women that no is a complete sentence, and I show them how to establish healthy boundaries with their families while putting their needs first. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.